Welcome back to Filthy Rides. Today we're getting dirty with a 2001 Toyota 4Runner that's got over 200,000 miles on it. It's been used as a work vehicle for many years, with grease and grime from tools, pets, and more accumulated over all this time.
Hi, I'm Simple Green.
Take two, Mark.
Hi, I'm Griff with Simple Green. Today we're tackling a 2001 Toyota 4Runner. This is one of the more interesting stains that we're going to be dealing with in the car. We have marks like this on the corners of all 4 bucket seats in the car. And the owner says that it's from his dog resting his chin on the seat. And that's the thing that we're going to be really having to work on here, is tackling these stains in the upholstery and in the carpet, as opposed to dealing with hair or moldy coins or gum in the cup holders or whatever. So we got our work cut out for us. All right, it's time to clean out all the junk. Now, this car doesn't have nearly the same amount of junk that we had in previous vehicles that we've cleaned out, but because he used this car for work, there's a lot of important paperwork that we want to take care of. Like, this is a rental agreement. It's got a lot of personal information on it, so we don't want to just be throwing this kind of stuff away.
When emptying the car, you should grab 2 bins, one for trash and one for things you want to hang on to. That way you don't throw away any important items by accident.
Once I got out all the junk, I removed the seats to give myself a little bit more room to work with, and then started the vacuuming process. Starting with the floor mats, giving them a good once-over before I removed them from the vehicle for cleaning later. Then I started on the general area, and as I went, I removed some of the plastic liners to give me access to the carpet edges, as well as removing the center cup holder gearbox coverings. These are both really dirty sections, and I could see that some of the stains were going from the carpet underneath these sections. So by removing them, it gave me better access to get that section of the carpet clean. As I went along, I used a detailing brush to break up some of the kind of slightly loose grime and dirt that was accumulated underneath like the gearbox and the emergency brake. That way I'm removing as much dirt as I can in this initial vacuuming so that I'm not turning it into mud later when I add water and cleaner. Going outside the vehicle, I started with the floor mats, adding a generous amount of water and then hitting it with the cleaning product and loosening up all that dirt with the drill brushes.
We'll be using Simple Green all-purpose cleaner for this project because it works great on any washable surface and doesn't have any harsh chemicals that might require gloves or special ventilation. We'll dilute our Simple Green with water at a ratio of anywhere between 1:2 and 1:4. So that's 1 part Simple Green to 2 or 4 parts water.
Nobody's going to remember that. Simple Green is concentrated, so you can use as much or as little as you need, depending on how bad the stains are. Next, I started with the seats, so that once I had them cleaned, they could sit in the sun and dry while I worked on the rest of the car. I start by giving each seat a thorough vacuuming so that I can remove any dust, dirt, and debris from the surface before I start the cleaning process.
It's important that you don't use too much liquid on the seats, as the interior cushioning is more prone to mold and mildew development than other areas in the vehicle. If you notice any tears in the fabric, it's important to take care of them as soon as possible to avoid worsening them as you get in and out of the vehicle. Pay no attention to the man on the mic.
Normally, when you're cleaning car seats, you don't need as much water if you're doing this kind of regularly. But with these heavily soiled upholstery, you really need to be able to dig down deep into the surface and the padding of the seat and pull out all of that dirt and grime. Starting on the back of the seats was when I first kind of realized how much dog hair was going to be in this vehicle. I hadn't really noticed, even in the initial vacuuming, that there was so much dog hair until it started getting wet, which is not ideal. Once I finished the seats, I set them in the sun to dry and moved on to the center console that I'd pulled out of the car. Once you rehydrate some of this stuff, it just looks so chunky and disgusting. This was covered in food and more dog hair.
All right, so I'm not really sure what it is about driver's side doors, but these cars are old enough now that look at the kind of stuff that we're dealing with. Bird crap all up here on the inside and out the outside of the window. We got all this kind of oil and grime that build up over time. This is all gonna come out, and it's really because we have a good cleaner. Whatever cleaner you pick, just make sure that it's not going to erode the material or the plastic, and that it's safe for the surfaces you're using it on. But all of this is gonna clean up really nicely.
Whenever cleaning the dashboard area, I always do it in 3 sections. The driver's side with the steering wheel and all those kind of nooks and crannies, and then moving on to the middle area with the stereo and the ashtrays and things like that, and then moving on to the side with the airbag and the glove compartment. The shifter wasn't particularly bad, but underneath that console area that I'd pulled out was a lot of accumulated kind of thick residue. I would just hit it with the cleaner, loosen it up with the detailing brush, and then wipe it down with a damp microfiber cloth. And every once in a while I would suck up some of the moisture with the wet dry vac. When cleaning the back seats, I was able to see a really nice and satisfying before and after. When you look at the left-hand side of the back part of the seat, we were able to get a lot of the dinginess and dirt out of the seats. When it's time to clean the carpet, I covered the exposed wiring with plastic and waterproof tape, and then added a generous amount of water to the carpet.
Remember what we said about too much liquid on the seats? This is a different story.
This was to help rehydrate those stains, help to bring them to the surface. I think what happens with some of these stains, especially this one under the passenger seat, is that the spill happens and it's kind of cleaned up, kind of half-assed. It just settles there and just stays there forever. Now we're reviving it, pulling it out, going over it and over it and over it. And it's not really until my extractor water runs completely clean that I feel satisfied that that stain has come out. I ended up having to empty the reservoir in my carpet extractor a number of times.
I ain't playing.
Yeah! Yeah!
Next, I went on to clean the door jambs, and I found in the back seat there was a small gap between the door and the wheel well that doesn't allow dirt to go inside the car, but it definitely fills that little area with a lot of caked on mud and dirt depending on how much off-roading or dirt driveways that you are going on in your car. So I ended up using the drill brushes and the hose to loosen up a lot of that mud and pull it out. As far as the door jambs go, it was really just hitting all the stains with Simple Green and wiping it down with a damp microfiber cloth.
We finished just in time for sunset. Man, it's been a long day of cleaning, but we got through it all. There was a surprising amount of grime. Even looking at the stains ahead of time, a lot of it was deep layered stains and a lot more dog hair than I was kind of expecting. We knew that the owner had a dog, but we weren't expecting this level of hair. There was a lot of grime that would kind of splatter all over the place when we dig down into these stains. But the thing that was a lot easier than I was expecting was those stains where the dog had left his chin on the corner of the seats. That came out super easy.
And that's the power of Simple Green All-Purpose Cleaner.
Okay, all right. Thank you for watching. We hope you join us next time on Filthy Rides.